What's up, passionate DJs? Today, we're exploring another new piece of gear, and this classy lady sports a beautiful red dress. This new mixer has a striking, bold appearance, but it's also a terrific tool for learning how to scratch. You're looking at the Pioneer DJM-S5, which is a new 2-channel battle mixer from Pioneer that is aimed at the beginner market, but is really up to the task. This mixer is red, robust, and ready for some serious scratch action. So we're going to dive in today and take a look at this thing and see who it might be for. Now, Tony and I over the weekend went to Detroit for Movement, which is the Detroit Electronic Music Festival, and we went there. The mixer arrived while we were there, and then we had to come back and produce this video for you. So the first thing I want to do is thank Tony so much for coming out here and doing all this work and helping me with this video, even though we had a long weekend and we had to go immediately from techno mode right back into hip-hop mode to show you guys what this is about. Let's get started. But first, just a reminder that this video was made possible by the DJ Hookup, the web's best online retailer for DJs, and our preferred hardware provider here at Passionate DJ. Now, the DJ Hookup is the company that sells DJ equipment to their friends, plus they offer a best price guarantee, free shipping, 90-day returns, and financing options. So head on over there now and tell them that Passionate DJ sent you. I guarantee that they'll take good care of you, and as always, we appreciate you supporting the people that support us.
The DJM-S5 is a sturdy new battle mixer from Pioneer DJ aimed at DJs who are starting to get serious about scratching. This is an entry-level product which slots in under the DJM-S11 and my beloved DJM-S7. It's got a similar layout to the other two, but it's got this really dope red and black design. And it also has a transparent window on the front showing the inner workings of the top-notch Magvel Fader Pro. It inherits the same levers as the other mixers, which allow you to engage all of Serato's effects. But it's worth mentioning, unlike my S7, the S5 does not have onboard effects, which just means that your laptop needs to be connected to the mixer to use the effects, even when using the CDJs or the tables.
Okay, so let's take a look at the top of the mixer. So like the S7, the S5 saves a little bit of room by putting the filter and the trim knobs over here to the side of the EQ. You control your master and booth levels here on the top middle, and you can do all your browsing and loading tracks right here.
I found that the effects levers and up faders basically felt like those on my S7. This means that unlike the Magvel crossfader, the up faders are just okay, and if there's a way to adjust their curve, I wasn't able to find it during my short time with this mixer. The paddles are the same ones that you will find on the S7 and the S11. Again, they're fine and good to work with, but they're just not bulletproof. The beat pads are actually different though. They have a clicky response, and I certainly prefer mine. However, these work just fine if you're not trying to be a world-class beat drummer.
Also, the S5 has 4 pads per deck as opposed to the usual 8. However, that second row of 4 can be accessed using this little 5 to 8 button right here. There are 6 buttons that you can use to engage your Serato effects, as well as some secondary functions used with the shift key. Like over here, you can adjust your crossfader curve and reverse it if you prefer hamster-style scratching. Now, over here, you can access Serato's Scratch Bank feature, and 2 new exclusive features to this mixer called Crossfader Hot Cue and Scratch Cutter. We'll come back to that in a minute.
The only other thing that I really feel that was missing compared to the S7 was its easy-to-use loop controls. You can access Serato's looping through the beat pads, but I really prefer having these loop in and loop out half and double buttons. It's just easier to do on the fly without really having to think about it. But then there's the Magvel Fader Pro, the heart and soul of this mixer and where the real value of the S5 is. You only have two curve options, which are sharp and linear, but you want that sharp cut for most scratch action anyway.
Now on the very front, you'll find your mic and aux levels, your small and large headphones jacks, and that crossfader tension adjustment. Now remember, you'll adjust the curve using the pads rather than a dial. And then taking a look around the back, comparing the ports and connections with the S7 makes it a little bit more obvious what they've taken out to save cost. So for example, there's no built-in USB hub or dual sound card for multiple DJs, and the line and phono ports are shared, meaning you change them with a switch. Also, the S7 has a dedicated booth output with quarter-inch connections, where the S5 has RCA jacks for this task, with a secondary label of Master 2.
One really neat thing about this mixer is that it's USB-C powered. This means you can plug it straight into your laptop and power it from there. It's always nice to have one less cable to route. But if you have the need, there is a second port for a power brick, but that is not included with the mixer.
Okay, so let's talk about those new features, starting with the scratch cutter. Pioneer presents this as a way to sort of see what your scratching routine would sound like if you were kind of an advanced scratch DJ. So there are a little bit of cheater buttons in the way, but it really is nice to be able to kind of get an idea of what your scratching would sound like by just manipulating the record and not having to move the crossfader. So if you haven't really gotten to that point yet, but you really want some scratches that sound like scratches, well, this is how you can do it. So let me show you what I mean. So basically what you want to do is take any of these effects buttons, hold them down, and then it'll put you into scratch cutter mode. And what this will do is sort of do transform patterns for you, almost like somebody is working the crossfader while you're moving the record. So it sounds a little bit like this. There's 6 different patterns here, so I'll show you what each one sounds like. And on some of them, you can actually use the beat adjustment here to change how fast the pattern is going. Let's see what the scratch sounds like just normally. Now, if we turn this first one on, so on this first one, what it'll actually do is basically not detect your pullback. So it's almost like you're closing the crossfader every time you pull the record back. Watch. You notice when I pull it this way, it stops playing. As opposed to this. Right? With it off. Okay, so you can hear how it's kind of auto-cutting that crossfader for you. And like I said, you can use the beat division here to change how fast that happens on some of these. Pioneer has some videos uploaded that shows a kind of an in-depth tutorial on each one of these patterns and what they do, and I've put a link to that video in the description below so you can learn a little bit more about that. Okay, so now we need to talk about Crossfader Hot Cue. This is actually a lot of fun. What it does, it's almost the opposite of the scratch cutter feature. Basically, it will engage a sample and make it play once you hit the crossfader. So every time I open the fader, it's going to play the full sample, and then it'll go back to the beginning of the sample when I close it, like this.
Break it down. Break it down. Break it down.
You notice I didn't have to go to a hot cue. I didn't have to spin the record back. It just goes
Break
back.
it down. Break it down. Break it down. Break it down.
Like that, see?
While the S5 is kind of stripped down to the basics, it also has the main ingredients that you need for serious scratching, such as the Magvel Fader Pro with adjustable tension and curve, the proper effects levers, and access to Serato's main features. This is more of a tool than a toy, but at a seriously, surprisingly reasonable price. I wish I had this as an option when I was first getting into scratching and DJing top 40 style in the clubs. The S5 would have solved some problems for me early on if I had access to a mixer that was focused towards DJs getting serious about both scratching and mixing.
And so with the S5, we have an $800 mixer, which is sturdy, pretty, and up to the task. You know, DJ gear can be sort of annoying sometimes when you're shopping. It's kind of like when you go to get a new iPhone and what you really need is a little more storage or a better screen, but they also make you pay for extra features and processor upgrades to get the one that you actually want. It can make you feel a little bit cheated, and DJ gear is not exempt from this phenomenon. However, I find myself impressed at the feature set of this mixer for the price. You know, the things they've taken away are pretty sensible. You don't necessarily need 2 USB sound cards or 8 pads on each side. You can get by perfectly fine without them. But it has the features that count and the sturdiness where it matters. And there you have it, folks. That is the DJM-S5 by Pioneer DJ. I really like this mixer, and I think that you will too. So go ahead, head on over to the DJ Hookup and order yours today. And as always, of course, subscribe to the Passionate DJ YouTube channel, as well as our Performances channel. You can click a link in the description below. It'll take you to that, and that's where we're going to be posting Tony's extended performance with this mixer, and that'll be in the next week or so. Thank you all so much for watching. Keep on spinning, and keep on scratching.